I have my brother Avi with me here.
I help creative entrepreneurs, whether they want to start their brands, their businesses, coaches, call it jewelry designers, fashion designers, graphic artists, photography, to just build their self-confidence and the self-belief to really take steps and take their brand and business to the next level. And then really help them with branding, with like business mindset, money mindset, all those blocks and fears that are getting in the way within them to like just empty out their system from all the stuff that's not working for them so that they can make room within them for the things that really will take them forward.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Wiser Together. Thank you for joining us and being a part of this. We truly appreciate your support. Okay, so this one is definitely a special one. I have my brother Avi with me here. Avi's like, I don't know how long we've known each other. We've known each other since uni first year, second year, maybe 2016, and it's been 8 years. Wow. Uni always brings back good memories, but it's been 8 years since I've known you, and certainly throughout that time, you've changed a lot. I've changed a lot, and I'm so happy for us to be in the places that we are. And I'm so happy to be sharing this space with you and getting this opportunity to chat and share our experiences and just take wherever this goes. We'll keep this super casual. Obviously, I haven't even made any notes, but yeah, brother, thank you for coming on. And how are you doing?
I'm good, man. I am super grateful that 8 years have gone by and we're still connected, for starters, that,
Yeah,
and how far we've all come, both me and you and Anos.
of course.
Um, it's been such a huge journey in terms of like the things that we're doing, the impact that we're creating, how we're complementing each other's work as well in a very
Yeah,
unique way in different parts of the world. And it's just very special to see where we were when we were in uni and where we are at now, and
yeah.
uh, how we've grown wiser in a way now.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you, bro.
Yo, if we're doing introduction, let me do one for you as well. I had my first interaction with Avi. It was like more like a second-hand introduction. Parmeet told me a lot about you, had spoken a lot about you, and I was moving to Dubai and was just asking friends and family, like if anyone knows anyone who's working somewhere, etc., etc. And then, of course, Parmeet mentioned you. You were working for a specific company, and then I was like, yo, if you can float my CV to them, to your supervisor. And you did that. And from that point onwards, it was sort of like a chain
And you got that
reaction.
job. Yeah,
I got that job, and I
yeah,
worked under that person as well. And suffice to say, I mean, Avi was just like cherished over there. Everyone
yeah,
loved Avi. I mean, I met like 15 of your colleagues, your ex-colleagues, and everyone was like of high regards and high praise of you, your work ethic and everything that you did. And apart from that, I think the effect that you had on people, everyone had such amazing things to say to you. So um not to take more of your time, but the chain reaction was insane, and I would just give you credit, and of course Parmeet as well. And just your ability to help me at that time really put me in the position that I am today. Of course, I think we can talk about that off call, off podcast, but I just wanted to thank you, brother. Thank you for like I hardly think people would do such a thing, because to vouch for someone at an ex working environment at an ex job. So you did that for me, and you've played a big role in where I am today. So thank you so much for helping a stranger out.
Wow, I really appreciate you saying that. And it's funny how sometimes we do things and we forget that we've even done them. I needed this reminder today because I had no clue in my psyche, at least right now, that I had done this or that this had happened back in the day. And I'm just grateful to have received this from you today. Thank you, man.
Oh, there's a saying in Urdu called "Neki kar darya mein dal," which translates to like just do something good,
do
and
a good deed.
like yeah, go do a good deed and just forget about it, or just don't keep in mind. And I think that's what happened. And I mean, that just goes to show that how many people you might have helped in such a manner. And yeah, you it's
Wow,
amazing.
quite the introduction, man.
It
Thank
was
you.
long due.
Yeah, deeply appreciate it.
And that's just a testament to you and your impact and the things that you do knowingly, but a lot of the times unknowingly as well. And it's just it's no praise or anything, it's just more so than what you do, more so who you are. And that just translates in the best way possible for people around you. So yeah, man, thank you for doing everything that you do. I have so many stories that I can go back on where you've positively impacted my life as well. Um, but yeah, I'm so grateful that you're here, and then we're sharing this space together.
I really appreciate everything you guys are saying so far already. We've just got started with this podcast, and I feel so showered with love. And generally, that's my job. Um, well, my
Yeah,
job and something that I deeply enjoy doing as a coach as well. So
yeah, 100%. Do
it's
you wanna, on that note, do you wanna please share a bit about what you do? And because I would love to do that, but I think I won't do justice. Like you'd be able to do it in the best way possible.
Tell us,
So
Avi, what
please,
sort of a visionary you are.
yeah,
yeah, nice one, good one. So as you both already know, my Instagram handle is called a.visionary. A visionary. I love that. And I am a creative business coach. So I help creative entrepreneurs. I help people that want to start their brands, their businesses, coaches, call it jewelry designers, fashion designers, graphic artists, photography, name it. To just b- build their self confidence and the self belief to really take steps and take their brand and business to the next level, and then really help them with branding, really help them with like business mindset, money mindset, all those blocks and fears that are getting in the way within them, to like just empty out their system from all the stuff that's not working for them, so that they can make room within them for the things that really, the mindsets, the beliefs, and the shifts that really will take them forwards. And yeah, it's really beautiful to see what can happen for a human being in just 3 months of working together. And I've been doing this for over 4 years. Parmeet was there at the beginning, right at the beginning of my journey, which I'm also deeply grateful for, because you were a huge catalyst for where I am right now. At that point, maybe let's say family and friends, or sometimes the people that are most close to you, they don't always believe in you, but someone that you met maybe just a year or two ago that doesn't know you extremely well, but that has a lot of love for you, can be such a huge, um, yeah, just motivator for you. And you've always been that, not only for me, but also for all of us. This person that's just like, just do it, just move, just make it happen. And in that point in time, I really needed a friend that believed in me, and you did that very, very beautifully.
I I really appreciate that,
So
bro. I feel
yeah.
like we sort of like project and give to others what we sort of want to receive back as well. And I was, for me, it was sort of in a way, yes, there was obviously a lot of belief and support, primarily because uh, just wanted to, you were starting something new, and it was definitely not an easy path. It wasn't something conventional job. It wasn't, you weren't following the blueprint that were given by society or our surroundings. You were going down and very unknown, uncomfortable, sort of dark, in the sense that you don't know where it's going to lead to, right?
mm,
uh,
Unknown.
yeah, and certainly I'm sort of on that path as well, so I just wanted to support as much as I could. But also, I saw that, and this has been from day one. Like there was a different energy about you since the day I've met you, which was, I remember very clearly. We had a friend in uni, Raghav Shiv, and we met at his house. Uh, just a sweet soul. Like I felt so loved and important and significant just being there. Like you had that energy about you. And then I feel like two things that would, from my perspective, put you apart from sort of others is how creative you were. Like you have, that's sort of like, it comes naturally to you. And then the other thing that which also comes naturally to you is to give and help people. And I've seen that in a lot of different ways because I've known you for such a long time, and you've obviously changed so much as a person over those years. Maybe in the beginning of starting years when we were in uni, you would cook for us and those sort of things. Obviously, that's evolved and changed in different ways. But what's beautiful is that you've changed those two things that come so naturally to you, your creative side and uh, your abundant self that always wants to give. You've put that together and sort of made your life out of it. So I'm extremely proud of you, and it's inspiring to say the least, uh, because not a lot of people have the courage to do that. You know what I mean? So, and you always lead with purpose. Have you always been like this? Like you're someone who always leads with purpose. That's very inspiring for me to see.
Thank you, man. It's so beautiful to receive that back and listen to how you see that I've put these ingredients together, you know. Sometimes you're so on autopilot that you don't realize how
Yeah,
I've ended up constructing a life around my gifts in a way.
your gift. Yeah,
And
exactly.
yeah, and I guess that's exactly what you guys are doing as well. No? You're spreading a ripple of love, you're spreading a ripple of growth and impact and wisdom through this community and through everything that you're doing in Australia as well, which is super inspiring that I see. So to answer your question about leading with purpose, have I always been like that? Yes and no. Like maybe I don't even know what the word purpose meant when I was 15 or 16. I was just giving love, and I guess that was just something that felt really good. And a lot of the times, giving for me came so naturally because it was also a deflection mechanism. You know, if I give, people won't ask too many questions about who I am and what I'm hiding within me. You know, so it also served as a hiding tool, if that's making sense.
Yeah,
If
yeah,
so, I would ask a lot of questions. I would get really curious about other people's life. I would cheerlead other people because yes, a part of me wanted that back. Like you said, we give to others what we wish we would receive, but also part of me didn't want that back and was using that as a I'm gonna shower love on you because I don't want you to be looking at the fact that maybe I'm gay, I'm insecure, I'm doubting myself, all these kind of things, you know. So I'd ask a lot of questions. I'd make sure that that person was fully taken care of, so that the energy and the spotlight wouldn't be on me. Um, so it's a dual-edged sword, and with time, I've learned that um, to open up and allow people to ask me questions, just like you're doing right now, and to give from a place of not wanting to hide something, but to give from a place of real, true love. You know, like give from which I've always done, but there was always that duality. Giving from a place of love and also giving from a place of not wanting to be fully asked questioned for who I am as well, you know? And this is me being really raw and vulnerable and honest here.
and I so appreciate that. Again, takes a lot of courage, but it takes me back to the question again because you said that sometimes it's coming from a place of love, but also not being avoiding sort of being questioned and stuff. So, but at the time, from what I know as well, you weren't 100% sure about yourself and those things, which is why it might have. Is that safe to say? Or maybe you hadn't accepted yourself fully, and which is why you saw that the surroundings or your environment won't accept because they're only a reflection of that, right?
100%.
You want to shed more light on that? Was it because of?
Yeah, 100%. I think a lot of people that have come to me after my coming out story or me sharing on Instagram or me sharing with my friends and my close ones, a lot of the people come up and they say, why did you take so long? Why didn't you come to us sooner? Or we were really there for you. And it comes back to what you said exactly. It's a mirror effect. But how can other people be there for you if you're not even there for yourself?
Yeah,
You know, so it's the same thing. How can other people accept you if you haven't accepted yourself? How can other people be okay with the claim gay or whatever it is that you're owning up to if you haven't come to terms with it yourself? So the work first starts with you. 100%. It comes with you owning fully who you are and being comfortable in your skin enough to accept yourself and then take the step to want that from the world. And I know a lot of people probably come out and I know a lot of people probably share things about themselves when they haven't fully done the acceptance part. But when you do that, you're sort of doing that also wishing for the validation of the world, right? So what I did is I constructed the validation within me first. I wanted to build my strength and my acceptance within me first before I went out to the world and I shared something, and then I got shaken because people would go, wait, is that really you? Is that really what you want? I don't want people to question me and for me to bend
Yeah,
and
yeah,
not feel confident in who I am. So I built myself from within. I really accepted myself. I really did the work to love myself from within with coaches, mentors, and with myself. So that when I did come out and when I did share, I'm doing coaching or I am gay or whatever it is that I'm sharing that is really vulnerable and scary, I did it from a place where people couldn't shake me. I just wanted to be firm in myself. And I think that's really important because if not, we're seeking for external validation to feel confident in ourselves.
I saw these things in your posts and your reels as well, because I mean a lot of your posts talk about, and I might be wrong, but they talk about owning yourself, accepting yourself, letting go of fear. So these things really do make sense. I remember I had a one-on-one coaching session with you as well, and there's a lot of things that you asked about my life, my family, and you could sense or you could smell the fear and insecurity and the duality that I was also showing, and you kept on coming back to this one point to accept and to talk about these things, because I personally had been a person who used to look at things from strength and used to detest weakness, used to detest vulnerability, used to detest fear. For me, these things used to brought up weaknesses and used to make a person think about things that they shouldn't. But after talking to you, looking at your posts as well, and of course a lot of other people as well, I had also been able to build this strength and foundation that you're talking about, because I believe it's super important when a question comes your way or when a thought comes your way, because people knowing unknowingly would talk about things or say things that they didn't mean, but our mind may take them in a different context, and they are, like Parmeet says as well, like our mind comes up with 70, 90,000 thoughts. So and these thoughts can be good, bad, or anything.
ugly.
Yeah, and you just need to have that foundation, the thing that you talked about. And while you were speaking, it made me so happy because you were speaking from a position of like personal authority. Like I could see a person who's calm,
Conviction.
collected,
Yeah.
yeah, who knows what he's talking about, and I could see that flare in your eyes as well. So i I mean, to be very honest, I aspire to be like you, to have this confidence in life, and to have this conviction. So that's truly amazing.
Thank you, man. I really appreciate that. And it's something you build with time, I guess. I don't think I was always like that, but the more I've put myself out there, the more I've just picked up my phone and recorded content, the more I've had coaching conversations, the more I've done maybe public speaking experiences, the more that confidence muscle has built. And I guess like I'll love to ask Parmeet as well about his experience with the Wiser Together community and the events that he's doing in Sydney. Like, how was your first experience versus the ones that you're doing more along? Like, how have you opened up as a person as well the more you host these experiences? I'm sure your confidence level shifts as well with
100%.
practice.
100%. Like, see, we're biologically like, uh, seeing discomfort or seeing something unknown puts us in stress, and our body reacts to that. And this goes back to primal times, like when we were hunter gatherers, we were seeing there's threats all around us, right? So the only when you go into a dark place or a place of discomfort where you don't see any familiarity, like your body already gets in that stressful zone, and it reacts accordingly. So uh, naturally our environment has changed a lot, but our physiology is still the same. So from the from day one to day, I don't know how many weeks has been, there's been a tremendous shift. And not just doing the events, but be it with running or with boxing or getting in the ring the first time, uh, the nature of the thoughts are always the same. It's discomfort. It's telling you to
Mm,
get out of there. There's a bit of self doubt, and these things are very natural. But I feel like there's a brilliant takeaway for everyone here. What you mentioned, self acceptance. I think that can be so powerful in not just changing first your own perception of yourself and how you talk to yourself, but then how society starts to mirror that as well. And when society starts to mirror that, it's sort of like an upward trajectory, like the strength and the confidence and the acceptance, sort of like it's a ripple effect, right? The momentum takes on. And I feel like, yeah, confidence comes from self acceptance, belief comes from self acceptance, and it's it's also not something uh, that it's, I guess it's different for everyone, but there's definitely work required, and it's always a work in progress as well. I would like to say that you never reach an end point, and that's the beauty of it, because you can keep climbing higher and higher and higher, right?
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
And it's been a journey for you as well, certainly. uh, but yeah, now, yes, Avi, like I've always like, I don't know what it's been, and what you mentioned, that 8 years we're still in touch. That says something, right? We've had so many friends since uni, and you only stay in touch with the ones that sort of you have overlapping values and those kind of things with, right? And that's the reason why it hasn't been like forced. It hasn't been that, oh, we have to stay in touch and this and that. No, I mean, on the contrary, we would speak maybe like once in 3 months or 4 months, but we're all always so connected, and we have so much love and gratitude towards each other. And when we meet as well, like it's always like nothing ever sort of changed. Exactly. So that's there's beauty in that as well, certainly. But long way for both of us. Now you're based in Barcelona. I was saying that I always get tracked, getting into different stories, and but I was saying that I've been inspired by you. I don't know, like I mentioned this before as well. There was certain energy about you from day one. I've always been inspired by your humble energy. At the time, we were all students, so we hadn't done something as of big, I mean, in that sense. But the humility and the care you had for everyone was truly inspiring. So nothing's changed from that angle for me. Like still an inspiring human being for me, and but like a lot's changed in your life. You're based in the beautiful city in Barcelona now, which you very much love, which we can tell from your stories. Tell us about tell us about the importance of sort of what role has that city played in your life. I think you've discovered a lot of things in the city. So,
It's a very good question, and I think the timing of that question is very on point because I came to Barcelona 2.5 years ago, and I came to I always wanted to live in the city. I always had a deep love for the city, the creativity, the architecture, the people here are also very alternative. They have soul, they have personality. The people here, they're not conventional in the way they dress, the way they express themselves. They just have something different, and they celebrate that something different. And I think that's exactly why it felt really good to take the step to come here because I've always felt different as well in my creativity, my way of being, expressing myself, and I love being around different mindsets, energies, ways of being, ways of thinking, and I think that just fuels me as a person. So Barcelona, for my coaching career as well, brought so much luck or abundance or growth. Just because being a creative business coach in a city where you're surrounded by creative people that are trying to take the next level in their brand and business was a very good match. So just really grateful for the time I've had here and all the experiences I've had. And I moved here because of love. So I moved here because of my ex-partner, which we're not together anymore. But the experience has been so beautiful, and the timing of the question is so on point because I'm actually leaving Barcelona at the end of this month.
oh no
Uh,
way.
yeah, like
You're leaving for good?
yeah, I mean, at least for a year, that's the plan.
Okay.
And it's interesting because you mentioned, I think Anas mentioned earlier the unknown, right? About taking steps into the unknown and doing these kind of things, or I don't know if it was Parmeet, and it's something that I've always had a very uncomfortable relationship with, the unknown. And
Hmm.
I guess it's not just me, it's probably everyone in society, like taking
Yeah,
that
that's
step into something that is unknown is so scary. But I've done that in so many ways, and I've done that always with fear and sadness. Like I've jumped
Exactly. Yeah.
I've jumped into the unknown with my sexuality or moving cities or starting a new career
Yeah.
or whatever it is and doing something that's super unknown to the world. And I've always done it with massive fear or like lack or sadness. But also,
That's exactly what I wanted to ask.
yeah,
I mean, that's what we talked about. You used to live in Dubai, and I think that was the tipping point when you sort of decided what you wanted to do. I could be wrong, but maybe like you could tell us the chronological order. And for our viewers and listeners, do you mind telling them, like, what it's like going on that journey, going on the unknown? Because look, you had a great job. You used to live
yeah.
in a very, I mean, Dubai, of course, might not be the soulful city. That's just something universally acceptable. But yeah, but just tell us about your journey, like, like a person who's listening to this, and they want to do XYZ, they're at a comfortable job, living in a good city. What were the steps, what were the fears, what were the, like the protocol that you sort of followed to get where
Yeah.
you are
Maybe you can
today?
relate it to your experience that you're gonna do now. Next, I don't even know about it, but that's a dark space as well, right? It's very much you'd be going through those emotions now as well.
yeah, 100%, 100%. I think, honestly, there's this thing that we all have within us, and it's called an inner voice, right? The gut feeling. And that, and our life brings examples and brings things towards us, like, let's say in Dubai, I wasn't fully ready or even open to exploring my sexuality, and all of a sudden, a guy started coming my way and started showing interest towards me, and I'm like, wait, what? There's a part of me that's I'm suppressing that I need to start working on now. And there's two things that you can do in that moment, right? Resistance or flow. And I guess you guys can relate a lot to this as well. You can either resist what life is bringing towards you in order to expand and be the most fullest, loving, expansive version of yourself and suppress that and hide and live a life of fear and feeling trapped, or you can flow with life. And flowing with life comes with a lot of discomfort. It comes with a lot of faith. It comes with a lot of courage. It comes with a lot of fear sometimes as well, because you're going into this unknown, and it can also bring a lot of, I'm going to hurt people. I'm going to maybe hurt myself. What am I going to be, what am I going to share with the world? What am I going to do? Et cetera, et cetera. It's like all these unanswered questions. Um, but here's the thing, like, I've always chosen to choose flow and to listen to my gut feeling, even though it's been really hard, and even though I've done it with fear and sadness, because it's always led me towards liberation and deeper joy and deeper happiness and the fullest expression of who I am. So the same is happening with me right now in Barcelona. For the past month, my landlord has been reaching out to me about my apartment, and he said, "Do you want to renew the lease for another year?" And there was a part of my body that just felt trapped, like really like icked, like, and I just kept hearing a voice inside me going, just take a year to go travel the world. You can do this. Just take a year to go travel the world and work remote. And every part of me was like, no, 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 no.
Scary.
Safety, comfort.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, no, no. Safety, comfort. You finally have the apartment of your dreams with the terrace of your dreams and
Yeah.
the community, the clients. Everything is checkbox perfect. Everything is amazing. Just like my relationship with my ex-partner was. Rationally, everything was amazing. But there was that voice within still going, no. And same happens with the city. I've had the most beautiful experience, but now I've come to a time where there's a voice inside me going, pack your bags, travel the world. You're going to meet some incredible people. You're going to grow as a human being. Don't limit who you are. Don't limit your potential. Right. And sometimes listening to that voice can be so challenging. But now with time, I'm starting to learn, and also a lot of deep work with coaches and shamans. Starting to really realize that my gut feeling actually loves me really deeply and wants the best for me.
Hmm.
And maybe instead of fighting with it my entire life, I just need to, listen to it sometimes and let it lead me to the unknown and see what happens.
It has worked for you in the past.
Yeah,
When was
just
the you mentioned that you've always faced this, either resisting what lies bringing you or flowing with it, and flowing with it has always done you good. When was do you remember the first instance when you had this epiphany, and you saw it in the perspective that you just shared?
If it's a very interesting question. It brings me back to the reaction of my parents when I came out and I shared that I'm gay. So I shared that at 24 years of age, and all the stories that you build in your mind, all the ego and all the narratives that you build in your mind, they're gonna say this, I'm gonna hurt this person, they're gonna be destroyed, this, that, they're gonna cry, they're not gonna accept it, etc., etc. And then you take the action step. You build all this resistance within your body. You trap yourself. You feel all this fear, and then you come out and you finally choose to flow with life, and you say, okay, this is what you want from me. You want me to accept myself and go for it. And life shows you incredible colors. My parents were like, yeah, we knew. Great. What next? Do you need a hug?
Oh, they knew. They didn't.
Yeah,
They
it's like they had a feeling and they were waiting for me to come out. And the more I shared it with people outside, and the more fear I felt before doing it, the more trapped I felt before sharing it with my closest friends. As soon as I did, they were like, we love you. We love you. We're here for you. And it just comes to show how so many stories that we build within us, and so much of the resistance, the narrative, and the things that we tell ourselves that trap our body and make us feel more contracted and fearful and make our shoulders hurt because we're just holding on to our truth. It's actually a pile of bullshit.
That tells me two things. First of all, the way that you've constructed your life, and like we talked about how you give love and how you treat people, is just like the people around you, your immediate family and friends. They just know you so well, and it's because of the way that you dealt with them, right? So by the time that you told them, they already had this feeling. They also had this inner voice telling them, about this as well. And that is just amazing. That just goes to show that, like, having that safety net, having those people around you really helps with the process as well, helps really with making those decisions easier as well. And at the same time, it also shows that you have incredible parents. I mean, we've always talked about these
I've
things,
met his parents
having
actually. They
parents.
they are actually very
Yeah,
incredible.
you've
Yeah.
told me, you told me a story about his father, if I'm not wrong. Like all of you guys
Oh
came
yeah.
to Canary Islands, and yeah,
First
how
time
how he took you. I
he
mean,
showed us
that's
to the
just
beach, and
amazing.
we wasn't even there.
Yeah,
So his dad
yeah,
received us,
yeah.
and he took us to the beach. It was amazing.
Yeah, I mean, and we are moving towards that age that we might become parents as well.
Yeah.
I mean, we are definitely for some of our friends as well. So it's just good parenting advice as well. It's just good upbringing, stories and skills and all those sorts of things. So they really do come a long way, and it's sort of like another thing that comes to my mind is sort of like that generational thing. Now you'll pass that on to the next generation as well. So the world truly needs parents like yours, and of course, a person like
Yeah,
you.
certainly.
Yeah, it's just beautiful, beautiful story.
I want to
Thank you,
share
man.
something which you might find very interesting, Avi. And it's very much relevant to what you mentioned as well, going with the flow state or resisting and staying within the comfort of whatever you find comfortable, right? So, do you know who Bob Proctor is, by the way?
Hmm. Yeah.
So he mentions that every person, leader, inventor who's achieved something remarkable, who's moved humankind ahead in the sense of any kind of inventions, be it electricity or iPhones or invention of a plane or whatever it may be, right? You get the idea. Every person who's done that, they would never be able to tell you what the next steps were to that thing. They're always able to backtrack, but they can see where they want to go, but they don't know how to get there, and they would never be able to tell you. If you ask Steve Jobs how he would come up with the iPhone, he didn't know, and he said this as well. But once he's done it, then he's able to backtrack. Oh, these are the steps I took that got me there.
Connect the
Yeah,
dots, right?
backwards. Yeah, they can
Yeah, backwards. Yeah.
every time, and this comes back to the C-type goal as well. I'm not sure if you're aware of C-type goals.
No, I'm not aware of
So A
this.
type goals are something that uh, Anas, yeah,
Yeah, so A type goals are just something you know that you can easily do, like for example, lose a kg in a particular given time, right? B type goals are a bit harder. You might want to challenge yourself. C type goals are just insane, like what you're saying right now, give up everything and just travel the world, meet incredible people, might want to make.
like inventions or something, like something that nobody else in this world can see, but only you can see because it's your dream. Only you can see it, right? So going back to that, like with every person who's had a remarkable invention or feat, they're only able to backtrack it. They know where they want to go. They have a vision. They have a dream. They don't know how, right? So, and it goes back to your Insta handle as well, a visionary. What's the vision, Avi? What's the vision? What's that C type goal for you, if you have one? And from what I know, you're a very visionary person, so I'm sure you've thought a lot about it. So please share. And I've never really asked you this, so I'm curious to know.
Thanks for asking, man. And I loved learning about the C type goal and the levels of discomfort that each different type of goal brings as well. Like how you go deeper in challenging yourself in a way. So it's C for challenge, I think, or C for courage in in
Yeah,
the type of goal.
could be either of those.
Um, yeah. So what's my vision? For me, actually, it's funny you asked me that, and it's funny my Instagram handle is a visionaire because for the longest time I've had it very clear, right? Like I've had it very clear that I want to do X amount of things and I could build vision boards around it and I wanted to travel to these places and do this and that and own a house here, et cetera, et cetera. But something really special happened when I went, even actually before going to India this year. So I took the decision to go to India for 2 months and really just travel alone, connect with my roots, connect with the country. And before going to India, there was a part of me that was just softening, this part of me that always needed to know. This part of me that always needed to control what was going to happen 2, 3, 5, 10 years ahead. That part of me was just softening down. And when I went to India and I saw people living really in the day, like shopkeepers opening their, yeah, really, really present. Shopkeepers that just open their, let's say, t-shirt shop in middle of the mountains in a village during the morning whilst they're having their chai, and they close it and then they light a fire outside their store and they just like warm their hands and then they just go to sleep and restart their day every single day. It makes you realize that the stories also that you build yourself about what you want for your future is so unnecessary. Like, yes, it keeps you hungry, it keeps you going, it makes you ambitious. And in those ways, it can be very motivating and it can be necessary. But at the same time, sometimes it detracts you from living in the present moment. And for me, it was doing that. For me, having so much of a vision and having so much of a drive of what next and what I'm creating in the future was holding me back sometimes from fully being present in the now. So when you ask me what do I want for my vision, I would be able to abstractly say I want more love in the world. I want to meet a lot of incredible people when I travel to Thailand and all the places that I'm going to next. I want to be able to meet you guys again and physically hug you guys and feel that connection and that love and that touch. Um, but do I want all those fancy things that I've always wanted in my life, like that gigantic house and all that? It will come whenever it has to. I'm not obsessed with the timeline. I'm not obsessed with how or when it will show up or what I need to do in order to make all those things happen. I'm just deeply present and I'm deeply present with the fact that I want to be surrounded by really incredible people to listen to conversations that help me grow and just take it step by step. And I think that's my vision for life. Like just live a life where I'm surrounded by really inspiring people, surrounded by nature, um, and yeah, being able to meet my close ones whenever I want and just take a flight and give them a hug because that's something that is
Yes,
invaluable.
sir.
Um, but yeah,
It,
that's my answer. I don't know if it answers what you're.
It
it does, but I
That's
want
an
to
amazing
go a
answer.
little bit deeper, if you don't mind. Is there
Sure,
anything you
go for it.
see in terms of, because I feel like someone as visionary as you and as purposeful as you, I'm sure there's some picture, some vision, some dream. And it doesn't, sorry if I didn't ask it properly. I'm not talking about the big cars or the big house
Mm,
or all those material things. No, 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 no. This is a level above, right?
the impact.
Someone, Yeah, the impact. And I'm sure you're
Mm,
very, like I said, purposeful about your life, and you're a visionary as well. And impact is something I had in my head, but I didn't want to say it. You said it yourself, right?
yeah.
So what do you see when you close your eyes? Is there some picture, some, it could be anything, and you might even not be able to explain it perfectly, which is exactly the reason why it's a C-type goal, right? So just I'm just trying to pick your brain, because I feel like in doing these things back and forth, when you say something and register back, it gives you an opportunity to develop on that thought and understand it more clearly. So
I love the question. I love what you're aiming to do here. And when I close my eyes and I see, I remember 5, 6 years ago when I was in Bali, and I arrived there for the first time. And you have the usual jet lag, you haven't slept for hours, my Airbnb wasn't ready, so I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna go for a stroll and explore nature a bit. And you just see like once again a shopkeeper opening his store and holding his little child and just like, giving love. And I remember those gentle moments where you're just able to give love by saying hi and receive that love back in like a little prayer. And
yeah,
like, hey, hi, it's so nice to
what
see
a
you. And
magical
those,
place.
it is a really magical and humble place. It goes back to that word, it really puts you on the ground and it really helps you connect to the rawness of life and to the simplicity. And when I close my eyes, I just see connection and I just see myself praying in this present moment to have enough energy and love to keep giving that and to be able to keep connecting with a lot of souls in this world. Like for me, one of the most beautiful things is being able to connect to people and listen to their stories. And I just wish to be able to do that more. So in terms of impact as well, something that's been very close to my heart always is homeless people. Like I'm not entirely sure why. Maybe it comes from a deep-rooted fear of being homeless myself one day. Like when you're an entrepreneur, sometimes you always have that fear of ending up broke.
Hmm.
And that's one that's been wired for me maybe a little bit. But um, homeless people have just really close to my heart because at the end of the day, when you've come to a situation like that, you've come to it because you stopped believing in yourself. You stop believing in life and you stop believing in the God that is within you that can take you forwards and you stop listening. And for me, something that I've always really wanted to do is be able to maybe, I don't know, build a school one day or build some sort of facility where you're not just giving them money and the resources in order to buy food, which is great as well, but also the education to take that next step and believe and love themselves again, to give life a chance and to give life that faith it deserves and that joy it deserves to rebuild the relationship with life and take that step forward and rebuilding themselves as well. So I would love to down the line be able to help a lot of homeless people, and I do it sometimes anyways on the streets or wherever I
Yeah.
possibly can.
Hmm.
Or when you go to Bali or India and you see that you can help people, it's just such a enriching moment to be able to give to other people. Um, and I think that's mainly my vision for me. Like I do see myself talking to really high profile people, name it Jay Shetty, Oprah Winfrey, all these people. I do see myself having
You've
conversations
already
with them
talked
one
to Jay
day.
Shetty, so it's already coming to life.
Yeah, actually, that's true. I was lucky enough to get on the stage with him. Um, but yeah, I do see myself doing all those things that will help me spread my voice and my impact further. But as much as I aspire to those things, maybe from an ego level as well, the things that really fuel my soul are the day-to-day interactions that put a smile on people's face. That just it's priceless, man. Like I
Yeah.
can't. I think you can
Uh,
relate to it a lot as well.
100%. That all changed for me. Like my whole life changed when I read Power of Now. That book, I think, what you just mentioned, uh, that book teaches us that just living everything that you want is in the now. But life is, see, this is where I get conflicted about it, right? Uh, any aspirations or ambitions, and I have my own sort of solution, a way of looking at it, but I want to ask you, any ambitions or aspirations or goals you have require you to think in the future, right? And be in that zone, reconstruct that, build that. Uh, in some ways, attach yourself to that as well. And in attaching yourself to that, create expectations, right? And this is a very natural process, not maybe not for someone as woke as you, but generally, like people do this. And I feel like there's always that subtle level of attachment and expectations once you do set a goal, right, or an ambition you have, no matter how much of a woke person one might be. We're not Buddha at the end of the day, we're all human, right? So those, that a bit of there. So how do you balance the two?
It's yeah, it's really good. It's so the duality between being focused enough to go for your goals and be determined, and
But
also
also,
letting
yeah,
go.
yeah, detaching and leading in the present moment and just flowing, like you
Yeah.
mentioned.
I think I think it's a fine balance, right? At the end of the day, like even focusing on your goals and focusing on your vision can be done with an element of flow,
Hmm.
right? So you set your mind, let's say you set your mind, and I do this at the beginning of every month. I write down my goals for that month. And
Hmm.
I say, this is what I want. I want to aspire to help this many people and attract this many people towards my business and grow and X revenue, let's call it, right?
Yeah.
And you write all these things down and you manifest them into your present reality. And then you set action steps towards doing that. Great. But also there's an element of flow where you have to listen to your body and to trust where it's moving and why it's moving that way, right?
Hmm.
Like not get in the way of getting into the goal,
Yep.
right? So it's like this, yeah, okay, I have the expectation of getting to this, but how I get there can be two ways. I can do it with the expected manner, so I can either control my path and really force myself to do things and enter burnout, or I can
Yeah.
follow the subtle ways that my heart's trying to lead me into new ways, and all of a sudden I'm going to reach that goal, but in a more loose, free, happy, joyful way.
Yeah. That's so
I,
beautiful. Can
yeah.
I share something? I have a saying for this, which might sort of put this in a simpler picture. I say that my happiness isn't a result of my ambitions. My ambitions are a result of my happiness. That makes sense. So when you're happy and fulfilled and living in the present moment, whatever reality that manifests itself into
Hmm.
is what the truth is. And if that is the goal and ambition that you is truly within your soul aspired for to achieve, then it will guide you there. Just being happy, fulfilled, and present and accepting of what you are now, and then whatever action uh, that sort of leads to is your truth, and it will
100%,
sort
man.
of, yeah. And I what it's exactly like you said, like if we're constantly living in that future and setting goals and not being present and setting so many expectations, it will lead to burnout. It's not sustainable, and at the end of the day, that goal isn't the end goal. The end goal is joy and happiness, right? So it just comes back to the simple things in life. It's so interesting, like when you go to these places, like I went to Africa last year. I've been to Bali as well. What a magical place. You went to this northern part of India. When you go to these places, you really see like you don't need much to be happy and joyful, and life just flows, and these people are goals. There's so much to learn from them,
Yeah,
right? Like it's like the more things we have, the more attachments and expectations we create, the more it takes us away from our present reality and from joy and happiness. Whereas these people who literally have nothing, like how people live in Bali, they're living on wages of $10-20, and but they're the Balinese people are the nicest people I've met and the most humble. Genuinely, like I was blown away. There's just some energy about that place, and they're so spiritual as well. They put prayers outside and like every day, and it's so like there's so much to learn from these small communities around
Yeah,
the world.
100%. 100%. I guess the people that, let's say monetarily or physically or materially have the least, probably have the most time to feel the most and construct the most within them, you know? And that's something that we run away from. Like the generation, our generation works to create more, to have more, and sometimes that works as a deflection mechanism to actually feeling more, and to being actually in tune with who you are and what you truly want, because you're just a machine that's going for it. You're just conditioned to go for it. Whereas they have so much time, or they have so much stillness, that they've just been able to connect more with the love. They've just been able to connect more with that subtlety within them, and it's, you know, everything that you're saying about following joy, and the quote that you said about ambition and happiness. It's so interesting because all these self-help books that you read, like The Secret, around
Yeah,
manifestation, or
yeah,
any book that you read around manifestation, yeah, Ask and It's Given by Abraham Hicks, whichever
yeah,
it is,
yeah, yeah,
that their main secret sauce in their book that they're constantly like trying to program us is follow what feels good. Follow your good feeling. Create a good feeling in your present moment and you'll become magnetic. And something really special happened to me as well when I was in India. Because I wasn't working and I was just following my joy and my curiosity throughout the day, I was super magnetic. I was deeply magnetic and I was just attracting experiences, things, work opportunities as well. Whilst I was in the mountains, trying to not attract work, I was attracting events and experiences and yoga classes and collaborations with people and clients whilst I was in total surrender mode.
yeah. But it felt natural, and you were still in present. It's not like you were putting in so much effort to go out of your way to do these things. It just
Correct.
naturally
Correct.
came to you
Correct.
because you were in that element. There's a beautiful saying that I think you really like is we do so much work to acquire so many possessions and these things only to then begin the real work of letting it all go. Which is, which is so
Wow.
yeah,
Wow.
which is so beautiful because
Beautiful.
I feel like every person who's sort of on that journey and they reach their highest self and goal, then they start realize that, oh, that's not the answer. Now it's the real work is actually letting it all
But
go.
I believe that's where they get it wrong. Part of our generation working today, and okay, that might be to support themselves financially and meet their financial obligations. This is where they get wrong. Instead of just doing that, because there's one thing growing up that I realized is that you can make money out of any career,
Hmm.
especially with the day and age that we live in. There is just so much opportunity. I don't think there's anything that you can say to me right now. I mean, if you're an artist, if you're a mason, the person who lays down brick, plumber, whatever it is, like an architect, there's just so many opportunities for you to follow your dream. And the reason why they feel burnout, the reason why they're not enjoying their present moment is because they're not pursuing career. They're just doing a job. For me, that has been the differentiation between a career and a job. um, my colleagues as well, the executives that I manage, the first thing that I say, or even the discussion that I have with Parmeet, or Parmeet keeps telling me as well, even between us, there should be joy, there should be happiness in what we're doing. Otherwise the work will reflect itself, the quality of the work will reflect itself. How people perceive your work, that will also be reflected in that. So it's just a matter of people. I mean, whoever is listening right now, if you really think that the journey that you're on right now, and the quote that Parmeet said, to work all of your life and then to at the same time work to lose it all. If you're in that loop right now, like a snake eating its own head, it's the time to reflect and to really reconsider if you're in a job or if you're building a career, because that will really help you 5 year 10 years down the line, um, and put you in a position where we can really propel and help the world. Because the thing that you mentioned about helping people, I think that's wonderful. And I think both Parmeet and I were really expecting like a very sophisticated, like a very deep answer, because I mean, that's the sort of person you are. And I'm not saying that that's not, but it was such a grounded answer,
That's what it
because
comes
that's what
to.
Parmeet and I, yeah, and that's what Parmeet and I have been also doing with our friends as well. And I think that's such an elementary thing that people miss out, because people want to invent the next best app, people want to invent the next best medicine, etc., etc. But just, tackling homelessness and giving that love and belief, it's such a grounded concept, and that really shows that you're building a career. And to me, if you're on this path, I really hope so, touch wood, that you will never feel exhausted or burned out, because you do it, out of love, out of passion. It's just incredible. I can say that for myself as well, because I was telling Permeet as well. Like, for now, I think for the next 5-10 years, what I'm doing as an e-commerce site and with Wiser, those two things I really love, and I'm so happy that they came across. And especially with Visor, both Parmeet and I weren't sure as to what it would become and what it is becoming. We really let it flow, and we're really excited to see what it will become as well. So yeah, it's everything that you said in the past 10-15 minutes. Just really, I was just thinking and just backlogging on my mind as well, and I could really resonate with it.
I was just saying, I loved the analogy between job and career, you know, between force and love, between creation and trapped, right? Like, which one are you doing? Like, and which one did you come here to do in this life? Not only like job and career, but also like relationship, no relationship. Like, which one are you feeling trapped in? Which one are you creating your freedom and your joy and your fullest expression? And it's always this duality, right? It goes back to resistance and flow.
I I want to touch on that as well, because I'm at that age right now, and all my life I've never had like a relationship that I could really call a relationship. And the first thing when people hear that, they're like, "You never had one?" I'm like, "Yeah, I never did. Is that a bad thing?" And even at this age right now, it's just the talks about marriage and this and that have started. And I love what you said as well, like, because I'm in that zone right now, in that phase of my life where if I am in a relationship and I tried, I sort of felt trapped, and I just didn't want to do it because the world expects that of me and my age right now, or what other people are doing. And so whoever is listening right now, if you do feel trapped, you might not feel trapped, like Avi said. If you're single as well, it's perfectly fine. Just do what you want to do, where you're not feeling trapped. You don't have to be just because the your friends or your family or the world expects you to be.
I think with job as well, like most people are just leading life from how what other people around them have, the expectations they have of that person in their surroundings. Does that make sense? It's a hard concept to wrap your head around, but most of us are just, we've created this series of expectations which don't really matter as much of I should be like this, I should be living in this house, or I'm not worthy enough, or I'm not seen as equal, or I should be driving this car, going to this college, doing it in a, there's a blueprint like we mentioned to life, and it's truly the ones who break out of that are the ones who make real impact, and you're one of them.
Like I'm saying, both of you are inspirational. The things that you guys are doing, I mean, I'm lucky to
No,
be in
like
your sphere. It's
it
amazing.
takes one to know one. But coming back to
Correct.
that,
I
you're
agree.
one of them who's not followed that blueprint and created this beautiful life for yourself. I just want to ask you a last question because we're reaching the hour mark, which is, what would you tell your younger self, or sort of people
Mm.
that are people around you that are not sort of following their own path and just sticking to the blueprint, because you're just someone who's done a lot of work and who's an example of that analogy, you know.
Is it okay to swear in this podcast?
It's okay, whatever
Okay.
flow.
Yeah. So here's the thing that I would say to my younger self. I would say, it. I'd say, it, and like, play, use that card way more in your life. Like, I feel like my younger self held back in many ways, was very playful, and in many ways very creative, and had a beautiful childhood, but in many ways I held myself back from being my fullest stupid, creative, whatever self. And sometimes that even plays in my life, but a mantra that's really helping me with overthinking or whatever is fuck it. Like, yeah, it's a beautiful apartment. Yeah, it's a relationship, or yeah, whatever. Fuck it. If it's not serving you, and your growth, if it's not helping you take that next level in your life, if it's not bringing you joy, let it go. Like for me, I've been a people pleaser for such a long time, and now I'm not gonna call myself one. I'm gonna say I'm a recovering people pleaser. Um, but I would have just told my younger self that like really just stop giving that many F's towards whatever else everyone else wants from you, and live for you and do whatever you want, and yeah, just go for it, man. Like it stop taking life so seriously and start valuing what you really want to do and just go for it. Fuck it.
That's beautiful. I think everybody has some this side in them. It just depends on how many layers are on top of that. And all we need is someone around us to tell us what you just told us. I hope somebody would listen to this and it would spark some kind of energy with them to remove those layers and follow their,
Yep.
create their own
Let's
path.
go.
Yeah,
Uh, and
I hope so
yeah,
too.
I'm so, so grateful for you, Avi. Thank you for coming
Yeah,
on and sharing this
definitely.
time, but also,
Thank you for everything that you do, bro.
yes, you had
Amazing.
a
Thank you
Amazing
both of
guy.
you as
tremendous
well, man.
impact in my life from the life coaching days, and there's so many, so many other things, but extremely grateful, brother. I love you. Take care. I'm always rooting for you. Love what you're doing. And yeah, way to go, brother.
Thank you so much, guys. If I miss,
You're the best.
if I can just say that I'm super proud of everything that you guys are doing, and it's really beautiful to see how you're spreading a ripple of love. Not just with me, which today I feel it's super showered with love. So thank you, but also with like the community, with people through Instagram. Everything you guys are doing is really inspiring, and just onwards and upwards. Keep going. It's really, really
Really
inspiring.
appreciate it, bro. Really appreciate it.
Likewise, brother. Likewise.
And lastly, I just want to thank everybody for sticking by and watching this till the end. Thank you for being a supporter, and we appreciate you. We'll see you next Sunday.
Ciao, guys.